On May 22, 2024, construction workers breaking ground for Joplin High School's new athletic complex made a discovery that would reopen the town's deepest wound. 13 years after an EF5 tornado devastated their community, they found 8 bodies in a sealed underground maintenance tunnel, 7 teenagers and 1 young man, missing since the day of the tornado. But here's what made national news. They didn't die in the storm. They were murdered. And one of the victims documented everything with her camera. 47 photographs that captured their final 60 hours on Earth. This is the story of how a natural disaster became the perfect cover for mass murder. How 7 friends followed someone they trusted into a trap. How Maya Chen's photography, her passion, her art, became the key to solving a 13-year-old mystery. But before we talk about that horrific day in 2011, I need you to understand who these people were. Because they weren't statistics, they were kids with dreams, families who loved them, and futures that were stolen. Let me take you back to where it all started. The town before Joplin, Missouri, population 50,000, sits in the southwest corner of the state, where Missouri meets Kansas and Oklahoma. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, where high school football games draw bigger crowds than the minor league baseball team. Where Main Street still has a functioning downtown, mom-and-pop stores alongside the newer chains. Spring 2011, Joplin was thriving. The economy hadn't fully recovered from 2008, but things were looking up. New businesses opening, unemployment dropping, real estate market stabilizing. Joplin High School sat on the south side of town, a sprawling campus built in the 1960s. 2-story brick building, football stadium, track, baseball diamonds. The kind of school where senior pranks became town legends, where homecoming was a week-long event, where graduating classes stayed close for decades. The class of 2011 was 312 students strong. They'd started kindergarten together in 1998, survived Y2K panic as first graders, watched 9/11 coverage in 5th grade, got their driver's licenses during the Great Recession. They were weeks from graduation, college acceptance letters already received, scholarships awarded, futures planned. 7 of them would never walk across that graduation stage. Hey, quick question. Where are you watching from? Drop your city and state in the comments. I'm curious how far this story has reached. The friends. Emily Mitchell was the kind of girl who made everyone feel included. Captain of the track team. But not because she was the fastest, she was 3rd fastest. She got captain because when freshmen showed up terrified at their first practice, Emily was the one who ran with them, encouraging them, making them feel like they belonged. 17 years old, 5'6", strawberry blonde hair, always in a ponytail. She had this laugh that carried across the cafeteria. Her mother Sarah would later say, "You always knew when Emily was nearby. You could hear her joy." She wanted to be a teacher. Elementary school. Had already been accepted to Missouri State with a partial scholarship. Her room was covered in lesson plans she'd been designing since sophomore year. When her friends asked why she wanted to work with little kids for terrible pay, Emily would smile and say, "Because I remember my 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Henderson. She made me believe I could do anything. I want to be that person for someone else." She'd been dating Jake Morrison for 2 years. They were that couple. The one that made single people roll their eyes and coupled people feel inadequate. They actually liked each other, laughed together, supported each other's dreams. Jake Morrison was everything his name suggested. Solid, dependable, quintessentially American. Linebacker on the football team. Not the star, but the guy who did his job without complaining. 6 feet tall, broad shoulders, hands that could palm a basketball. But here's what people didn't know about Jake. He was terrified of his father's expectations. Richard Morrison had been all-state linebacker in 1986, expected his son to replicate that success. Jake was good, but not great. Every game his father attended, Jake could feel the disappointment radiating from the stands. What Jake really wanted was to be a physical therapist. He'd spent sophomore year recovering from a torn ACL, and the PT who rehabbed him changed his life. "I want to help people get strong again," he told Emily, "not hit people until they fall down." Emily was the only person who knew Jake cried after games his father criticized. She was his safe place. Maya Chen saw everything through her camera lens. 5'2", long black hair, quick smile. Her parents had immigrated from Taiwan in 1995, opening a small restaurant in downtown Joplin. Maya grew up in that restaurant, doing homework at corner tables, learning to cook traditional dishes, translating for customers who only spoke English. Photography was her escape and her passion. Her Canon Rebel, bought with 3 years of saved birthday money, went everywhere with her. She documented everything: school events, family dinners, random moments of beauty she spotted on the street. "I want people to see what I see," she'd tell anyone who asked about her constant photography. "Most people walk through life not really looking. I look." Her dream was photojournalism, National Geographic specifically. She'd spent hours studying the work of Steve McCurry, Annie Leibovitz, Sebastião Salgado. Her bedroom walls were covered with printed photographs, not of herself, but of moments she'd captured that made her feel something. Senior year, she was creating a photo essay documenting her class's final months together. Hundreds of shots. Candid moments of laughter, stress, friendship, change. She called it the last year of everything. She had no idea how prophetic that title would become. Tyler Vaughan was Jake's best friend since 3rd grade. Tall and lanky, all elbows and knees, with a mop of brown hair that never quite stayed combed. He played basketball, small forward, and was actually pretty good. Good enough for a Division II scholarship to Pittsburgh State. Tyler was the joker. Every friend group has one. The person who can't let a moment get too serious, who deflects emotion with humor, who makes everyone laugh even when they don't want to. Teachers loved him and were exasperated by him in equal measure. But beneath the jokes was anxiety. Tyler's parents had divorced when he was 10. Messy divorce, custody battle that lasted 2 years. He'd learned early that humor could diffuse tension, that making people laugh meant they weren't fighting. He'd just broken up with Alicia Torres 3 weeks before the tornado. 2-year relationship ended because Tyler was going to Pittsburgh and Alicia to Mizzou. "Let's not do long distance," Alicia had said. Tyler agreed, even though it shattered him. But by movie night on May 21st, they were talking again. Friends again, maybe something more. He'd never get the chance to find out. Alicia Torres was popular in the way that didn't require meanness. Cheerleader, yes, but also president of the Spanish Honor Society, volunteer at the animal shelter, friend to basically everyone. 5'7", dark hair, bright smile. Her parents were both doctors, her father a surgeon, her mother a pediatrician. They expected excellence and Alicia delivered. 4.0 GPA, National Merit Scholar, full ride to Mizzou. But Alicia felt the weight of expectations crushing her. Every A had to be a perfect A. Every competition had to be won. Every photo posted had to show perfect happiness. She confided in Emily during late-night phone calls, "I'm so tired of being perfect. I just want to be enough as I am." The breakup with Tyler devastated her, but she hid it, smiled through it, let everyone think she was fine. Only Emily knew she cried herself to sleep for a week. At movie night on May 21st, when Tyler made her laugh with a stupid joke, Alicia felt something shift. Maybe we can figure this out. Maybe perfect isn't the goal. Maybe happy is. She was beginning to believe in second chances. Sam Brooks and Kevin Park weren't biological siblings, but you'd never know it by watching them. Sam's parents had adopted Kevin from South Korea when Sam was 8 and Kevin was 6. From day one, they were inseparable. Sam was the brain, valedictorian, perfect SAT score, acceptance letters from Harvard, Yale, Princeton. She'd chosen Yale, full scholarship, pre-med track. Her parents, Linda and David Brooks, were so proud they'd framed the acceptance letter. Sam was driven, focused, organized. Her room was color-coded. Her planners were legendary. Teachers joked that Sam could organize the Pentagon and fix it by Tuesday. But she was also kind. She tutored struggling students for free. She visited her grandmother in the nursing home every Sunday. She wrote thank you notes to teachers who'd inspired her. Kevin was quieter. He'd struggled with English when he first arrived in America at age 6, but by high school he was fluent in 3 languages: English, Korean, Spanish. He was planning to study international relations at Missouri State. He wanted to work for the State Department, helping families like his navigate immigration. The Brooks family called them the twins, even though they looked nothing alike. Sam tall and blonde, Kevin shorter with dark hair and eyes. But they moved through the world as a unit. Sam's friends were Kevin's friends. They double-dated. They studied together. They defended each other fiercely. Linda Brooks would later say, "They chose each other every day." That's what family is. Choosing to show up, choosing to care. They chose each other until the very end. The outsider. Brandon Cole didn't fit into any of these friend groups, and he knew it. 22 years old, still living with his grandmother on the east side of town. High school dropout. Maintenance worker at Joplin High School. A job his uncle Marcus Webb got him after Brandon's third arrest for misdemeanor theft. Brandon was invisible in the way that certain people are. Not physically remarkable. 5'9", thin, brown hair, forgettable features. The kind of person you'd pass in a hallway and forget immediately. But invisibility bred resentment. Brandon watched these teenagers every day. Watched them laugh, flirt, plan futures, take for granted the opportunities he'd never had. He cleaned up after them, fixed the lockers they broke, mopped the floors they dirtied without noticing, and he hated them. Not all of them specifically. Most of them had never spoken to him, but they represented everything he lacked: youth, potential, community, hope. Emily Mitchell was different. Emily had spoken to him, smiled at him, asked him how his day was. For 3 weeks in March 2011, Brandon interpreted Emily's basic human kindness as romantic interest. He started accidentally running into her, lingering near her locker, showing up at track practice to check the equipment. When he finally worked up courage to ask her out, Emily gently declined. "I have a boyfriend, Brandon, but I appreciate you asking." Kind rejection. Respectful rejection. Brandon experienced it as humiliation. The next day, Jake Morrison pulled Brandon aside. "Hey man, Emily's not interested. You need to back off." Not threatening, firm but not cruel. Brandon experienced it as a declaration of war. He filed the incident away, added it to his growing list of grievances, began planning something he didn't fully understand yet. When the weather forecast for May 22nd showed severe storms, Brandon saw opportunity. The day before May 21st, 2011, Saturday, 7 p.m. Emily's house was the gathering spot. Her parents, Sarah and Tom Mitchell, had accepted long ago that their home was teenager headquarters. They'd learned to buy snacks in bulk, to expect impromptu sleepovers, to love the constant noise of adolescence. This particular Saturday was movie night, a tradition since freshman year. Every 2 weeks the friend group gathered to watch something together, argue about it, eat too much junk food. Emily's living room, couches arranged in a U-shape facing the TV, popcorn bowls everywhere, pizza boxes stacked on the coffee table, the smell of teenage chaos. Emily, Maya, Jake, Tyler, Alicia sprawled across available surfaces. Sam and Kevin arrived late. Kevin had gotten lost again. He'd only lived in Joplin for 11 years, but somehow still struggled with navigation. It was a running joke. "I swear this town reorganizes its streets when I'm not looking," Kevin said, prompting eye rolls from everyone. They watched The Avengers, the first one, just released on DVD. They debated superhero ethics. Tyler did impressions of Loki that made everyone laugh. Jake fell asleep during the final battle scene and denied it when everyone called him out. Tyler and Alicia sat on opposite ends of the couch at first, the breakup still fresh, but by the end of the night they were talking quietly in the corner. Emily caught Maya's eye and smiled. Maya grabbed her camera. 10:30 p.m. The group filed onto Emily's front porch for the ritual end of movie night photo. Arms around each other, smiling, the golden porch light making them glow. Maya set up her camera on a tripod, timer activated. She ran to join the group just as the shutter clicked. 7 teenagers, friends since freshman year, 3 weeks from graduation. Maya uploaded the photo to Facebook at 10:47 p.m. Caption: "Best friends forever." 46 likes within an hour. They made plans for next week. Same time, same place. Maybe watch Iron Man 2. Complete the marathon. "See you tomorrow at practice," Emily called as everyone left. "See you tomorrow," they chorused back. They had no idea tomorrow would be their last day alive. The morning hey, if you're still watching, hit that subscribe button. This story gets so much darker, and you're going to want to see how it ends. May 22, 2011. Sunday morning, 8 a.m., Maya's bedroom. Maya sat at her desk, scrolling through last night's photos on her laptop. She edited the group shot, adjusting exposure, enhancing colors, making everyone look their best. She posted it to Facebook with pride. This photo was going in her senior essay, the perfect representation of friendship. Her phone buzzed. Emily texting. "Track practice at 3. You bringing your camera? Obviously. When do I not bring my camera? True. Love you. Love you too. The last text conversation Maya Chen and Emily Mitchell would ever have. 10 a.m. Morrison Family Church. Jake sat through service trying to pay attention. His father shot him looks every time his phone buzzed. Emily texting, making him smile. After service in the parking lot, Richard Morrison mentioned the weather forecast. Son, they're predicting severe storms this evening. Tornado watch already issued. Maybe you should skip track practice, stay home. Jake considered it. He looked at his phone. Emily's last text. Can't wait to see you. Dad, I'll be fine. We'll be at the school. If anything happens, we'll take shelter. Richard Morrison would replay this conversation 10,000 times over the next 13 years. Maybe if I'd insisted. Maybe if I'd forbidden him. Maybe if I'd been a better father who my son felt comfortable saying no to. 2 p.m. Sam's house. Sam and Kevin loaded their backpacks, textbooks, laptops, SAT prep materials. Sam's valedictory speech needed one more revision. Kevin was helping her refine the ending. Library study session, Sam told her mother Linda. Be careful, they're forecasting severe weather. Mum, we'll be in the library, literally the safest place in town. All that concrete and no windows. Sam kissed her mother's cheek. Love you. Love you too, sweetie. The last words Linda Brooks would hear from her daughter. 3 p.m. Joplin High School track. Practice began under clear skies. Emily running 800 meters, training for regionals in 2 weeks. Maya photographing from the bleachers. This practice was part of her senior essay. Maya's camera captured everything that afternoon. 3:15 p.m. Emily mid-stride, face focused, powerful. 3:45 p.m. Jake and Tyler goofing off by the high jump pit. Tyler attempting a backflip. 4:30 p.m. Alicia demonstrating a cheer routine, teaching a freshman the moves. 5:20 p.m. The sky, still blue, still beautiful. 5 p.m. Maintenance building, south side of campus. Brandon Cole arrived for his shift. He wasn't scheduled to work Sunday, but he'd volunteered. Told his supervisor, Marcus Webb, he wanted the overtime. Brandon opened his locker, checked his supplies, flashlight, keys to every building, pipe wrench, his uncle's revolver he'd stolen 3 months ago. He texted his grandmother. Working late tonight, don't wait up, she responded. Be safe, sweetie. Brandon stared at that text for a long moment. Be safe. His grandmother had no idea what those words meant to him. No idea what he was about to do. He pocketed the gun and headed toward the track. The warning signs 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Track practice continued under increasingly ominous skies. The weather radio in Coach Williams' office reported tornado watch, not unusual for Missouri in May. No immediate danger. Practice continued. 5:17 p.m. Storm spotters reported tornado touchdown near Galena, Kansas, 15 miles west, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Coach Williams heard the report but wasn't worried yet. 15 miles. They had time. He'd evacuate if the situation changed. 5:20 p.m. Maya photographed the sky. Years later, meteorologists would analyze this photo, pointing out the visible rotation, the organized cloud structure, the telltale signs of a developing tornado. But to teenagers, just a dark sky. Missouri in May. Normal. 5:32 p.m. Tornado sirens. That distinctive wail that everyone in Tornado Alley knows, rising and falling, urgent, impossible to ignore. Maya's camera captured the next 8 minutes in devastating detail. 5:32 p.m. Students stopping mid-practice, looking around, confused. The sirens mean take shelter, but where? The school building is locked for weekend. Cars in the parking lot? 5:34 p.m. Coach Williams shouting, pointing toward the school building. He's got keys. They'll shelter in the interior hallway. Students beginning to run. 5:35 p.m. The sky, no longer beautiful. Green-black, rotating visibly now. Even untrained eyes can see something is wrong. 5:36 p.m. Students scattering, most toward the school building, some toward cars in the parking lot, planning to drive away. 5:37 p.m. Brandon Cole approaching Emily's group, his mouth open, clearly shouting something over the sirens. Emily, Maya, Jake, Tyler turning toward him. 5:38 p.m. Brandon gesturing urgently, pointing toward the drainage area at the edge of the parking lot. 7 students following him. Emily's face shows trust. Brandon is school employee. He knows the campus. He knows where to shelter. 5:39 p.m. The group running toward the drainage area. Background visible in the frame. Other students running opposite direction toward the school building. The split. Those who followed Brandon toward the secret shelter, and those who ran toward the designated tornado shelter inside the school. The ones who ran to the school survived. The ones who followed Brandon did not. 5:40 p.m. Maya's camera shows the tunnel entrance. Concrete stairs descending into darkness. A steel door propped open. Brandon descending first, flashlight beam cutting through the gloom. 7 students following. FBI would later add a caption to this photo. This is the last moment any of these 8 individuals were seen alive by anyone except their killer. The trap drop a comment if you're still with me. I know this is heavy, but the truth matters. Inside the tunnel, 5:40 p.m. Maya's photos document every second. 5:15 p.m. The tunnel interior. Concrete walls painted institutional gray. Emergency lighting casting everything in sickly green glow. The space is larger than expected. 40 feet long, 8 feet wide, 7 feet tall. Old maintenance tunnel from the 1960s, abandoned when new systems were installed. 5:30 p.m. The group huddling together. 7 faces visible in the camera flash. Expressions ranging from nervous to relieved. They believe they're safe. Emily has her arm around Maya. Jake has his arm around Emily. Tyler and Alicia standing close. Sam and Kevin side by side. 5:41 p.m. Brandon Cole closing the steel door. Heavy door, the kind designed to withstand weather. His back to camera. The sound of the lock clicking shut must have been loud because in the next photo, everyone's face has changed. 5:41:30 p.m. The group's expressions shifting. Confusion. Emily's mouth open. FBI lip-reading experts later confirmed she's saying, "Brandon, why did you lock it?" Above ground, simultaneously, the tornado's roar becoming audible. Still a mile away, but approaching fast. The sound like a freight train, like a jet engine, like the end of the world. 5:42 p.m. Brandon turning toward them, facing camera directly. Maya's flash captures his expression perfectly. FBI psychologists would later describe it as eerily calm, almost peaceful. The look of someone who's made a decision and feels relief. 5:42:30 p.m. Jake moving toward Brandon. His body language is confrontational but not yet violent. He's trying to talk. His mouth forming words, "Open the door, now." 5:43 p.m. Brandon pulling the pipe wrench from his belt. Not quickly, deliberately. He wants them to see it, wants them to understand. 5:43 p.m. Above ground. The tornado strikes Joplin High School. Even underground, the sound is deafening. The walls vibrate. Dust rains from the ceiling. Emergency lights flicker. The roar so loud that screaming would be pointless. The parking lot above begins to collapse. Asphalt and concrete and cars and debris falling into the ventilation grate, sealing it with tons of wreckage. Brandon planned this. He knew the tornado was coming. He knew the parking lot was unstable, built over old drainage. He knew the tornado would seal them in. He just needed to ensure no one escaped before it did. 5:43:15 p.m. Brandon swinging. Jake raising his arms defensively. The wrench connecting with Jake's forearm. The crack audible even over the tornado's roar. 5:44 p.m. Blood. Jake on the ground. His arm bent at an angle arms shouldn't bend. 5:45 p.m. Tyler lunging at Brandon, trying to tackle him, protect the others. The wrench connecting with Tyler's shoulder. Tyler stumbling back. 5:46 p.m. The girls pressed against the far wall. Screaming. Silent in photos but visible in open mouths, in terrified expressions. Emily has Maya behind her, protecting her best friend. Alicia has her hands over her mouth. Sam is pulling Kevin back, preventing him from joining the fight. 5:47 p.m. Brandon standing over Jake's motionless body. Tyler conscious but injured, unable to stand. The other 6 students pressed against the far wall, as far from Brandon as possible. 5:48 p.m. Brandon sitting down. Positioning himself at the tunnel entrance, blocking the door. Wrench across his lap. Gun visible in his waistband now. Just sitting, waiting. Above ground, the tornado continues its path of destruction. 90 seconds of hell, buildings exploding, cars flying, trees shredded. The high school, built to withstand winds up to 150 mph, disintegrating under winds exceeding 200 mph. And then, after 32 minutes total, the tornado moves on. When the roar finally stops, the tunnel's occupants hear nothing. Complete silence. They're sealed underground, buried alive. And Brandon Cole sits between them and the only exit, watching them realize their situation. The imprisonment Maya kept photographing. 47 photos total over approximately 60 hours. Some decisions we make don't feel like decisions at the time. Maya didn't consciously think, I'll document this for whoever finds us. She was a photographer. Photography was how she processed trauma, how she made sense of things, so she kept shooting. Those photos would eventually solve the case. But in the moment, they were just Maya trying to maintain some control over the uncontrollable. Hour 1 through 6, May 22nd evening, 5:50 p.m. The group at the far wall. Emily holding Maya, Alicia crying, Sam and Kevin attempting to open the ventilation grate, Tyler conscious but bleeding, unable to stand, Jake motionless. 6:00 p.m. Emily approaching Brandon. Her body language is supplicating, she's begging. The photo captures her on her knees. Brandon's face is expressionless. 6:30 p.m. Tyler attempting to force the door. Blood from his shoulder wound soaking his shirt. Brandon just watching. Not stopping him because he knows the door won't open. It's locked from the outside. 7 p.m. The group huddled together. First attempts at phone calls. No signal underground. Kevin's face shows devastation. He had his phone out, trying, nothing. 8 p.m. Alicia screaming at Brandon, her face contorted with rage and terror, her mouth forming words. Why? Why are you doing this? Brandon doesn't answer, just sits, just watches. 9 p.m. Sam examining Jake, her hands on his neck, checking for pulse. The next photo shows her face. She's crying. Jake Morrison is dead. Blunt force trauma to the head, dead within minutes of the attack. 10 p.m. Emily and Maya embracing. Tyler sitting against wall holding his injured shoulder. Alicia writing something with borrowed pen and paper from Sam's backpack. Sam and Kevin praying together. 11 p.m. Brandon still sitting, still watching. His face shows no emotion, no remorse, no pleasure, just blank observation. Above ground, life continues. Emergency services overwhelm the city. Joplin's emergency call centers received over 4,000 calls in the first hour. Hospitals triaged hundreds of injured. Fire departments fought dozens of fires. Search and rescue worked through the night, looking for survivors trapped in rubble, finding some, missing others. No one thought to look underground. Why would they? The tornado destroyed everything above ground. Hour 12 through 24, May 23rd, daytime. 6:01 a.m. First signs of physical deterioration, air quality declining. The tunnel's air supply was never designed for 8 people sealed inside. Carbon dioxide building up, visible sweat on everyone's faces despite cool underground temperature. 8 a.m. Emily attempting to reason with Brandon again. Photo shows her gesturing, explaining, maybe talking about her family, about the search that must be happening, about mercy. Brandon's expression hasn't changed. He's not listening. 10 a.m. Tyler trying to dig through the concrete wall with his bare hands. Photos show his fingers bloody, his face desperate. The wall doesn't budge. It's solid concrete, 6 inches thick. 12 p.m. Sam writing, pages and pages. Goodbye letters. To her parents, to Kevin's parents, to teachers, to friends. She's methodical, even in crisis. Organized to the end. 2 p.m. Kevin praying in Korean. Sam joins him. They pray together, siblings to the end. Maya photographs them and the image is hauntingly beautiful. Faith in the face of death. 4 p.m. Alicia and Tyler sitting together, holding hands. The breakup doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters except human connection. The photo shows their foreheads touching, finding comfort. 6 p.m. The group's breathing is labored now, visible in the photos, open mouths, heaving chests. The air is thick, heavy, wrong. Above ground, families are frantic. Sarah Mitchell filed missing person report at 6 a.m. May 23rd. Richard Morrison organized volunteer search parties. Linda Brooks called every hospital within 50 miles. Police took reports seriously, but explained the reality. An EF5 tornado just destroyed their city. 8 missing persons among 161 confirmed dead. Bodies scattered across miles. Identification taking days or weeks. "We'll find them," the officers promised. "Give us time." Time was the one thing these 8 people didn't have. Hour 24 through 48, May 23rd into May 24th, 8 p.m. May 23rd, Emily and Maya holding each other, no longer trying to escape, no longer begging Brandon, just existing together. Maya's camera captures Emily's face, acceptance mixed with terror. She knows they're dying. 10 p.m., Brandon still sitting, but his expression has changed. Slight furrowing of his brow. Is it doubt, regret, or just discomfort from breathing the same toxic air? 12 a.m., May 24th. Tyler unconscious now. Alicia shaking him, trying to keep him awake. Oxygen deprivation causing confusion, drowsiness, eventual unconsciousness. 2 a.m., emergency lights beginning to fail. Photos increasingly dark. Shadows overwhelming the frame. Faces barely visible. 4 a.m. Sam's handwriting, photo of her final letter, the words shaky now. "Mom and Dad, I'm sorry. I love you. Tell Kevin's family I'm glad they gave him to us. Tell Yale I'm sorry I won't make orientation. I was going to change the world." 6 a.m. Kevin unconscious. Sam beside him, awake but barely, her arm around her brother, choosing him to the end. 8 a.m. Alicia has stopped moving. Photo shows her slumped against Tyler, who is also still, breathing but barely, bodies shutting down from oxygen deprivation. Above ground, search efforts continue. Richard Morrison's volunteer group has expanded to 50 people. They're walking grid patterns through rubble, finding bodies but not their children. Maya's camera is found in a debris field half-mile from school. Police bag it as evidence. Assume Maya was carried by tornado, camera separated from body. No one thinks to check the memory card. It's not relevant to a tornado death investigation. The camera goes into an evidence locker, where it will sit for 13 years. Hour 48 through 60, May 24th. Final day. 10 a.m. Maya still conscious, still photographing. Her hands shake. The photos are blurry, but she keeps shooting. It's all she has left. Control, purpose, documentation. 12 p.m., Emily speaking to Maya. Photo captures Emily's mouth moving. FBI lip readers later determined she said, "I love you, you're my best friend, thank you for seeing me." Maya photographed her own response, tears streaming down her face. 2 p.m., only Maya, Emily and Brandon definitely conscious now. Tyler and Alicia still breathing but unresponsive. Sam possibly stirring. Kevin motionless. 4 p.m., emergency lights completely dead. Photos now show only what Maya's camera flash illuminates, faces emerging from darkness, ghost-like, already gone. 6 p.m., photo of Emily and Maya embracing. Emily's hand on Maya's face, Maya's camera held at arm's length, capturing them both. This photo would later become the most shared image of the tragedy. 2 best friends comforting each other in their final moments. 8 p.m., photos becoming random, accidental. Maya's hands no longer able to hold camera steady. Flash illuminating ceiling, walls, nothing. The camera falling, activating on impact, capturing darkness. 9 11 p.m., 3 final photos, each progressively darker. The last one shows only black. The camera's battery died, or Maya did, or both. Medical examiners' later determination based on decomposition analysis and environmental factors. Jake Morrison died, May 22nd, 5:45 p.m., blunt force trauma. Emily Mitchell died May 24th, 10:11 p.m., asphyxiation. Maya Chen died May 24th, 10:11 p.m., asphyxiation. Alicia Torres died May 24th, 10:11 p.m., asphyxiation. Tyler Vaughn died May 25, 12:02 a.m., asphyxiation. Sam Brooks died May 25th, 12:02 a.m., asphyxiation. Kevin Park, died May 25, 12 Seward, 2 Dogs AM, asphyxiation. Brandon Cole, died May 25, 3 Yacht to 4 Yorks AM, self-inflicted gunshot. Brandon lived longest, positioned near the door where air circulation was marginally better. He survived long enough to watch all 7 victims die. Then he put his uncle's revolver to his head and pulled the trigger. That's the search. If you're feeling this story, please hit like. It helps more people find the truth about what happened to these kids. May 23rd through May 25th, 2011. The immediate search. Sarah Mitchell couldn't sleep. She drove through Joplin all night, looking at faces of survivors being pulled from rubble, hoping one would be Emily. None were. At 6 a.m. May 23rd, she filed a missing person report. The officer was kind, but realistic. "Ma'am, the high school was destroyed. We're still searching the debris. It's going to take time. But Emily's car was found 3 blocks away. Undamaged, she wasn't in it. That's not unusual. Tornadoes do unpredictable things. She might have been thrown from the vehicle. We'll keep looking." Sarah joined volunteer searchers. They walked grid patterns through rubble. They found bodies, parts of bodies, personal effects, none belonging to Emily. Richard Morrison organized private search parties. By May 24th, he had 50 volunteers. They expanded their search radius to 5 miles, the distance an EF5 tornado can carry objects. They found nothing. No clothing, no jewelry, no bones, nothing. It didn't make statistical sense. 8 people don't just vanish. Even if the tornado had killed them, their bodies would surface somewhere. Scattered maybe, but findable. The Chens received devastating news on May 25th. Maya's camera had been found in a debris field. Police returned it to them. They looked at the last photos on the memory card, the group shot from May 21st. Emily's face smiling. They didn't think to look further. The camera was damaged. The newer photos wouldn't load on their old computer. They assumed the memory card was corrupted. The police tagged the camera as evidence and stored it, but they never forensically examined the full memory card. Why would they? They knew what happened. Tornado. Missing persons. Tragic, but straightforward. Week 2 through week 4. FBI established a missing persons task force. 8 students still unaccounted for, along with 15 adults from other locations in the city. Of the 15 adults, bodies of 13 were eventually found. 2 were found alive, trapped in a basement, rescued after 5 days, dehydrated but surviving. But the 8 students, nothing. Agent Rebecca Torres was assigned to the case. She was 32, sharp, methodical. She reviewed every witness statement, mapped every sighting, analyzed every discrepancy. Statistical analysis showed that at least some remains should surface: clothing, bones, personal effects. But repeated searches found nothing. She wrote in her report, "Absence of any physical evidence suggests these 8 individuals were not in the primary tornado path. Recommend alternative investigation." Her supervisor responded, "EF5 tornadoes can vaporize bodies. Continue standard search protocols." Rebecca didn't believe bodies could be vaporized. That's not how physics works. But she was junior agent. She followed orders. Privately, she continued investigating. She interviewed everyone who saw the students that day. She walked the high school campus repeatedly. She felt in her gut that something else happened, but she couldn't prove it. 2012 through 2024, the case went cold. Officially, the 8 students were victims of the Joplin tornado, their names added to the memorial wall. 161 confirmed dead, including Emily Mitchell, Jake Morrison, Maya Chen, Tyler Vaughn, Alicia Torres, Sam Brooks, Kevin Park. Brandon Cole was listed separately, also presumed dead, but no memorial. He was maintenance staff, not student. His grandmother held private service. Families grieved. Sarah Mitchell visited Emily's empty grave every Sunday. Richard Morrison donated the scholarship money he'd saved for Jake to other students. The Chens closed their restaurant. Cooking reminded them too much of Maya photographing their dishes. High school continued. Class of 2012 graduated in the rebuilt gym. Then 2013, 2014, every year moving further from the tragedy. But some people didn't forget. Rebecca Torres, now a senior agent, kept the file. She'd pull it out occasionally, review it, look for what she missed. Maya's camera remained in evidence locker, NURA 4782, memory card untouched, full analysis never performed. Brandon's journal remained hidden under his grandmother's basement mattress, where she never thought to look. The tunnel remained sealed, unknown, forgotten, until May 22, 2024, exactly 13 years later, when construction workers broke through. The discovery, May 22, 2024, 9:47 a.m. Joplin High School's new athletic complex was finally getting built. 13 years of fundraising, planning, community support. The tornado had destroyed the old facilities. Now they were rebuilding. Better. Stronger. A symbol of resilience. Tom Henderson operated the excavator. 20-year veteran, calm and competent. He was digging foundation trenches for the new track stadium when his bucket hit something unexpected. Concrete, but not foundation concrete. This was different. Older. Not on the plans. He stopped the machine, climbed down, examined what he'd uncovered. A concrete wall, 6 inches thick, painted institutional grey beneath dirt and debris. "Hey Mike, come look at this." Site foreman Mike Patterson walked over, examined the wall. "That's weird. Nothing on the blueprints about underground structures here." They kept digging carefully, following the wall. It extended 40 feet. Then another wall. Then stairs leading down. And a door. Steel door. Bent but intact. Tom tried to open it. Locked from the outside. But the lock was damaged. 13 years of settled earth had warped the frame. He pulled hard. The door groaned. Shifted. Opened. The smell hit them first. Death. Decay. 13 years of decay. Tom shined his flashlight inside and saw bones. 8 skeletons, 7 in one area, 1 near the door. All in advanced stages of decomposition, clothing intact enough to identify. Joplin High School track uniform on several bodies. A camera clutched in skeletal hands. Tom backed away fast and vomited. Mike called 911. Within 30 minutes, police had secured the site. Within an hour, FBI arrived. Within 2 hours, Rebecca Torres, now special agent in charge of Missouri Field Office, was standing at that tunnel entrance, looking at what she'd searched for 13 years ago. "I knew it," she whispered. "I knew they weren't in the tornado." The camera, 11:30 a.m., May 22, 2024. Dr. Patricia Vance led the forensic team. She'd worked hundreds of death investigations. She was professional, detached, efficient. But when she entered that tunnel and saw 8 skeletons, teenagers based on skeletal development, her composure cracked. "They were trapped down here," she said to Agent Torres, "for days, maybe longer." "How do you know?" Patricia pointed to marks on the walls, scratch marks, finger width. "They tried to dig out. Look at the fingernails." Several skeletons had finger bones showing signs of trauma. They clawed at concrete until their fingers broke. She moved carefully through the scene. 7 skeletons clustered together at the far end. 1 skeleton separate near the door, gun beneath its hand, pipe wrench nearby. "This one killed the others," Patricia said, pointing to the skeleton near the door. "Then killed himself." Rebecca looked at the skeleton's clothing. Maintenance uniform. Name tag still visible. Brandon. "Brandon Cole," Rebecca said. "Maintenance worker. Went missing same day as the students. You remember him?" "I remember everything about this case." Patricia continued her examination. Then she saw the camera. A Canon Rebel, professional grade, still clutched in the skeletal hands of one victim. She carefully removed it, bagged it, rushed it to the mobile forensic lab. Tech specialist Luis Ramirez connected the memory card to his computer. "Dr. Vance, you need to see this." The screen filled with thumbnail images, 47 photos. The last 47 photos Maya Chen ever took. Luis opened them chronologically. The room went silent. Photo 123, normal day. Track practice. Teenagers smiling, running, living. Photo 24, a tunnel entrance. 7 students descending into darkness. Photo 25, a young man's face, calm, too calm. Photo 26, violence, blood, terror. Photo 27, 46, 60 hours of hell documented in excruciating detail. Photo 47, darkness. "Jesus Christ," Luis whispered. She documented everything. Patricia's hands shook. In 30 years of forensic work, she'd never seen anything like this. A victim documenting her own murder in real time. "We need to show this to the families," Rebecca said. "Are you sure? They're going to see exactly how their children died. They've been waiting 13 years for truth. This is truth. We show them everything. The truth revealed 2:00 p.m., May 22, 2024. FBI Mobile Command Center. 8 families gathered. They'd been notified that morning. We found them. We need to prepare you for what we're going to share. Sarah Mitchell spoke for all of them. Just tell us, we've waited 13 years, whatever it is, we can handle it. Agent Torres projected Maya's photos onto a screen. Chronologically, all 47. The first 23 brought tears of joy. Emily alive, smiling, running, beautiful. Parents seeing their children move again, even in still photos. Frozen moments of life before death. Photo 24, the tunnel entrance, brought confusion. Where is that? Richard Morrison asked. Underground maintenance tunnel at the high school. Abandoned. Sealed after the tornado destroyed the parking lot above it. Photo 25, Brandon Cole's face, brought recognition. I know him, Emily's father Tom said. That's the maintenance kid. Emily mentioned him once, said he asked her out and she said no. Photos 26-35, the attack brought screams. Sarah Mitchell vomited. Richard Morrison punched the wall, breaking his hand. Maya's mother collapsed. Alicia's father had to be restrained from destroying the equipment. Photos 36-45, the imprisonment, brought unbearable grief. Watching their children slowly die over 60 hours. Watching them try to escape. Watching them comfort each other. Watching hope drain from their faces. Photo 46, Emily and Maya embracing. Emily's hand on Maya's face. Maya's camera capturing their final moment together. Broke everyone completely. The room filled with sounds of grief that FBI agents would hear in nightmares for years. The kind of crying that comes from souls breaking. The kind of pain that has no comfort. Linda Brooks, Sam's mother, spoke through tears that wouldn't stop. My daughter didn't die instantly in a tornado. She suffocated slowly over 3 days while a monster watched. She had time to know she was dying. Time to be terrified. Time to write me goodbye letters that are dust now. Time to say goodbye to her brother. Time to suffer. She looked at Agent Torres with eyes that had lost all light. This is worse. Knowing is so much worse. But Sarah Mitchell, Emily's mother, disagreed. Her voice was raw but firm. At least we know. At least Emily didn't suffer alone. Maya was with her. They had each other at the end. At least we know the truth instead of imagining. At least we can stop looking. The room divided. Those who wished they'd never learned the details, and those grateful for closure no matter how painful. Rebecca Torres let them grieve. Then she showed them the rest. Brandon's confession. Brandon Cole's grandmother died in 2023. The family cleaned out her house in early 2024, preparing to sell it. After the discovery in the tunnel, FBI requested access to search the property. In the basement, under Brandon's old mattress, they found his journal. Agent Torres read the final entries aloud to the families. May 21, 2011. Tomorrow is the day. Weather forecast shows 70% chance of severe storms. If the tornado comes, they'll trust me to save them. I know that tunnel. I'm the only one who knows it exists. When I tell them to follow me, they will, because I'm invisible, I'm safe, I'm nobody. Then they'll see me. Then they'll finally see me. When they're trapped and scared and dying, they'll see me. They'll remember my name. They'll wish they'd been kinder. They'll wish they'd noticed me. But it's too late now. The tornado comes at 5 p.m. I'm ready. May 22, 2011. Written approximately 1 p.m. I've prepared everything. The tunnel is perfect. Concrete walls 6 inches thick. Steel door that locks from outside. No windows. No cell signal underground. The ventilation grate is weakened. I spent 3 weeks loosening the bolts. When the tornado hits, the parking lot will collapse and seal them in. No escape. They'll die slowly. Oxygen will run out in 48-72 hours depending on panic levels. They'll have time to think, time to understand, time to regret. Emily will be there. She rejected me kindly, which was worse than cruelty. She treated me like I was beneath consideration, like I was safe, harmless, nothing. Jake will be there. He warned me away from her. Polite warning, but warning nonetheless. Who is he to warn me? What makes him better than me? The others don't matter specifically. They're representatives, popular, successful, happy. Everything I'm not. Everything that's been denied to me. I don't hate them individually. I hate what they represent. And when they're gone, maybe my pain goes too. T-4 hours. The families listened in stunned silence. The premeditation was worse than they'd imagined. Brandon hadn't snapped. He'd planned, prepared, used a natural disaster as weapon and cover. Tom Mitchell spoke. "He killed our children because Emily was nice to him?" "No," Rebecca Torres said. "He killed them because of who he was inside. Emily's rejection was just the trigger. If it wasn't her, it would have been something else." Why these 8? Investigation revealed Brandon's selection criteria. Emily Mitchell reported him to principal for inappropriate attention. When counselor called Brandon in, he was advised to maintain professional distance from students. He experienced this as humiliation. Primary target. Jake Morrison defended Emily, confronted Brandon directly but not violently. Brandon experienced this as emasculation. Secondary target. Maya Chen, Emily's best friend, collateral damage. Also, Maya had photographed Brandon at school events. He'd seen the photos. He was always in background, blurred, unimportant. She captured his invisibility. Tyler Vaughn, Jake's best friend, always with Jake. Collateral damage representing male friendship, Brandon lacked. Alicia Torres, popular cheerleader, walked past Brandon thousands of times without seeing him. Symbolic target representing social rejection. Sam Brooks and Kevin Park, wrong place, wrong time. Not specifically targeted. They were at the library but heard the sirens while walking back to their car, saw the group following Brandon. Sam's natural leadership instinct made her follow to ensure everyone got to safety. Kevin followed Sam. Both died for being good people who checked on others. Brandon didn't hate them individually. He hated what they represented. Success, friendship, acceptance, future. Everything he lacked. By destroying them, he thought he'd destroy his own pain. Instead, he created pain that would echo across a community for generations. Marcus Webb's complicity investigation focused on Marcus Webb, Brandon's uncle, his supervisor, the man who gave Brandon keys to every building. Marcus Webb died in 2018. Heart attack at age 62, but phone records and witness testimony revealed his role. May 22, 2011, 5:00 p.m. Brandon texts Marcus, "Working at school, storm coming, going to take shelter." Marcus responds, "Stay safe. Lock up when you leave." May 22, 2011. 11:30 p.m. Brandon calls Marcus from the tunnel. Cell signal was weak but not completely gone yet. Brief windows of connectivity. Call lasts 3 minutes. Marcus's widow, Susan Webb, testified to FBI. Marcus came home that night shaken. Wouldn't speak. Drank 3 beers fast, which wasn't like him. When I asked what was wrong, he said, "Brandon called. Something terrible happened. He's trapped somewhere with students. They're hurt." He was crying. I asked if he called police. He said no. I asked why not. He said, "I gave him keys. If he used those keys to hurt someone, I'm liable. I could lose my job. We could lose the house." I begged him to call anyway. He refused. Said maybe Brandon was confused. Said maybe it wasn't real. Said we'd deal with it tomorrow. Tomorrow he went to work and lied. Told police Brandon called in sick, never mentioned the phone call. Susan continued. Marcus developed severe anxiety after that. Started having panic attacks. Couldn't sleep. The doctor prescribed medication, but it barely helped. He knew those kids were dying down there. He knew. And he did nothing. Medical records confirmed Marcus Webb was prescribed anti-anxiety medication starting May 27, 2011. He saw 3 different therapists over next 7 years. None knew the real source of his guilt. He told them he felt guilty about surviving the tornado when so many died. He carried the truth until his heart gave out in 2018. If he'd made that call, Rebecca Torres said, rescue teams would have been deployed immediately. Those kids could have been found within hours. 6 of them would have survived. Jake was already dead from the attack. But Emily, Maya, Tyler, Alicia, Sam, Kevin, they had 48 to 72 hours of air. If Webb had called at 11:30 p.m. May 22nd, they'd have been rescued by 6:00 a.m. May 23rd. Marcus Webb didn't pull the trigger, but his silence was murder nonetheless. What Maya's photos showed, the forensic analysis of Maya's 47 photos, revealed details that words couldn't capture. Emily's face. Across 20 photos showing her alive in the tunnel, you can watch hope drain away. Photo 31, hour 18, is where she stops believing in rescue. You can see it in her eyes. Jake's fight. Photos 26-28 show Jake actively trying to protect the others. He lunged at Brandon 3 times. The third time, the wrench caught him, but he was trying. Until the end, he was trying. Tyler and Alicia, photo 41, shows their foreheads touching, hands clasped. The breakup that devastated them weeks ago meant nothing in their final hours. They found each other again at the end. Sam and Kevin. Photo 39 shows Sam with her arm around Kevin, both unconscious but still touching, siblings to the end, the family that chose each other. Brandon's face. Photo 25 is the most analyzed image. Psychologists studied his expression. Eerily calm, they called it, the look of someone who's made peace with evil. But photo 43, hour 50, shows something different. Slight furrowing of his brow. Doubt, regret, or just physical discomfort. Maya's perspective. The photos aren't random. Even in terror, Maya composed shots, framed faces, captured light. She was artist until her last breath. Photo 46, Emily's face, Maya's hand visible in frame-holding camera, is technically perfect. Beautiful even. A portrait of love in the face of death. Photographers around the world studied that image. It appeared in Time magazine. Won posthumous awards. Maya achieved her dream of National Geographic-level photography. Just not the way she'd imagined. The families today. Sarah and Tom Mitchell established the Emily Mitchell Foundation, scholarships for aspiring teachers, youth mentorship programs, anti-bullying initiatives. Sarah speaks at schools about warning signs of dangerous obsession. Emily showed me that even kindness can be misinterpreted, Sarah says, but I won't let that make me cruel. I'll teach others to be kind while maintaining boundaries. Emily would want that. Richard and Jennifer Morrison created the Jake Morrison Athletic Scholarship, but not for the best athletes, for the ones who show up, work hard, support their teammates, the ones like Jake. Richard quit his job in corporate finance, became a physical therapist at age 58. My son taught me it's never too late to pursue what makes you happy, he says. Maya's parents, David and Lisa Chen, reopened their restaurant in 2025. They named it Maya's Table. The walls display her photographs. Not the tunnel photos. Those remain in FBI archives, but her earlier work. Her joy, her art, her vision of beauty. Every May 22nd, they serve free meals to anyone who asks. Community gathering. Remembrance. Life continuing. Tyler's mother, Amanda Vaughn, and Alicia's parents, Carlos and Maria Torres, worked together to reform Missouri's emergency notification systems, new protocols for severe weather, better shelter identification, mandatory drills. Our kids died partly because of chaos, Amanda says. No one knew where to go. Brandon exploited that confusion. We're making sure it never happens again. Linda and David Brooks, Sam and Kevin's parents, established the Brooks Sibling Scholarship, specifically for adopted children. Specifically for siblings who chose each other like Sam and Kevin did. Family isn't blood, Linda says. It's choice. It's showing up. Sam and Kevin showed up for each other until the very end. We honor that. The systemic changes. Emily's law passed in Missouri legislature in 2025. Mandatory background checks for all school employees, annual mental health screenings for staff with building access, anonymous reporting systems for threatening behavior, funding for threat assessment teams at every school district. Maya's clause: the student-created documentation in emergencies must be forensically examined within 48 hours. Disaster investigation protocols reformed nationwide. FEMA now requires ground-penetrating radar for all disaster sites with missing persons. Sealed spaces, tunnels, bunkers, basements, prioritized in searches. Evidence lockers must be digitally catalogued within 72 hours. Memory cards and electronic devices examined immediately, not stored indefinitely. Photography ethics reform. National debate about victim-created documentation. Should Maya's photos be public? Press ethics boards established new guidelines. Images showing identifiable victims require family consent. Documentation created by victims themselves is treated differently than external journalism. Public interest balanced against dignity of deceased. The Chen family consented to limited release. Photos 1 to 23 and photo 46 only. The rest remain FBI archives. The world can see Emily and Maya's friendship, Lisa Chen said, but they don't need to see them suffer. The memorial, the Joplin Community Resilience Center, opened May 22, 2026. 15 years after the tornado. One wing dedicated to the 8. Emily, Jake, Maya, Tyler, Alicia, Sam, Kevin, not Brandon. He doesn't get memorialized. The exhibition is titled Maya's Lens 47 Photos That Change Disaster Response. Visitors see select photos, the happy ones, the group shot from May 21st, the final embrace between Emily and Maya. They read stories about who these teenagers were, what they loved, what they planned to become. Adjacent room displays their achievements. Emily's room, her lesson plans, her college acceptance letter, testimony from students she tutored. Emily made me believe in myself, one wrote. Jake's room, his football jersey, his physical therapy dreams, letter from the PT who rehabbed him. Jake would have been an exceptional healer. Maya's room, her photographs, hundreds of them, beauty she captured, moments she preserved. Her Canon Rebel camera sits in a glass case, the camera that solved the case. Tyler's room, his basketball highlights, his jokes written on cards by friends. Tyler made everything lighter, one reads. Alicia's room, her cheerleading uniform, her straight-A report cards, her Harvard acceptance letter, what she could have been. Sam and Kevin's room, their adoption story, photos of them growing up together. Sam's valedictorian speech, undelivered. Kevin's multilingual journals, Brothers Forever. The final room is different, dark, somber. It shows Brandon Cole's face, his journal excerpts, Marcus Webb's phone records. The placard reads, Evil often wears ordinary faces. Vigilance isn't paranoia. Reporting concerns isn't overreacting. If you see something, say something. 7 families wish someone had said something about Brandon Cole. Below that, but don't let this story make you cynical. Emily showed kindness to everyone. That kindness didn't cause her death. Brandon's evil did. Stay kind. Stay vigilant. Both are possible. The final image. The last thing visitors see before exiting is a projection, 4 feet tall, 8 feet wide, the group photo from May 21, 2011, 7 teenagers on Emily's porch, arms around each other, smiling, golden porch light making them glow. Caption below, Emily Mitchell, Jake Morrison, Maya Chen, Tyler Vaughn, Alicia Torres, Sam Brooks, Kevin Park. Taken 24 hours before their deaths, they believed they had decades together. They believed in tomorrow. Brandon Cole stole those decades. We honor them by living the lives they couldn't. With kindness, awareness, vigilance, we honor them by seeing each other, by choosing each other, by showing up, until the end. Visitors leave quietly, many crying, all changed. The exhibition has been seen by over 500,000 people since opening. School groups visit on field trips. FBI agents study it during training. Photographers come to understand documentation's power, and families come. Emily's mother comes every Sunday, sits in front of that final photo, talks to her daughter. I see you, Emily, Sarah Mitchell whispers every week. I see you. I'll always see you. Where we are now, December 2025. Brandon Cole's grandmother sold the house. She couldn't live there anymore. Every room held memories of the boy she raised, the monster he became. She donated the money to the victim families. All of it. I can't keep it, she said. That would be profiting from their pain. The tunnel has been filled with concrete. No marker, no plaque. It doesn't deserve remembrance. The high school rebuilt its track. Every year on May 22nd, students run 800 meters. Emily's event. 7 laps for 7 victims. Maya's camera club photographs the run. Rebecca Torres retired from FBI in 2024. She solved the case that haunted her for 13 years. But I didn't solve it fast enough, she says. If I'd pushed harder in 2011, maybe Marcus Webb would have talked. Maybe those kids would have been found in time. I'll live with that. The families gather every May 22nd at the memorial. They share stories. They cry. They laugh at memories. They keep their children alive through words. This year will mark 15 years. Emily would be 32. Jake would be 32. Maya would be 32. Tyler, Alicia, Sam, Kevin, all 32. Maybe with careers, families, children of their own. Maybe they'd still be friends. Maybe they'd have drifted apart like high school friends do. We'll never know. Brandon Cole stole all of those maybes, but he didn't steal their memory. He didn't steal their impact. He didn't steal their love. Emily's kindness lives on in the teachers she inspired. Jake's determination lives in the athletes he's never met. Maya's vision lives in photographers worldwide. Tyler's humor lives in friends who still quote his jokes. Alicia's excellence lives in students who push themselves. Sam and Kevin's brotherhood lives in families who choose each other. 7 teenagers died in darkness over 60 hours in May 2011, but their light continues. If this story affected you, here's what you can do. Drop a comment telling me where you're from and how this story made you feel. I read every single one. Hit subscribe if you want more stories that matter, stories that change how we see the world. And if you know someone who needs to hear this story, someone working in schools, in emergency response, in mental health, share this video. Truth spreads when we choose to spread it. Most importantly, see the people around you. Really see them. Check on your friends. Report concerning behavior. Trust your instincts. Don't let politeness override safety. 7 families wish someone had seen Brandon Cole for what he was. Be the person who sees. Be the person who acts. Be the person who chooses others. Until the end. This has been the story of the Survivor's Tunnel. Thank you for bearing witness to these 7 lives. Emily, Jake, Maya, Tyler, Alicia, Sam, Kevin. Say their names. Remember their light. Live the lives they couldn't.